Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. Welcome back to another live show. Sorry about that show I started just a second ago. I've still got to work out some kinks with my screen sharing because what I'm going to do, obviously, timepieces for tomorrow is another live show here on IrixGuy's Adventure Channel, and that's going to be a very educational centric type live show that deals with wristwatch collecting. But this show, IrixGuy's live show, this is just across the board little bit of every sort of content that you could think of. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and smash through a few very big topics. One of those topics is the Schwinn IC4. That's the exercise bike that I've been using. Check out my Schwinn IC4 video playlist. I've got a ton of videos now, a ton more coming soon. That is a tool that has enabled me to, obviously I run a lot of different businesses, and with that comes a lot of bookkeeping and that sort of stuff. So with that being the case, it's important to have the exercise to counteract that. Now, yeah, I'm not going to diet. Don't worry about that. Never been a fan of diets, but it is easy to do a 45-minute or so workout on the exercise bike and help to control the weight, because you don't want to get huge. Some people may. I don't have any desire to do that. I mean, I've got a lot of things brewing that I'm bringing to market, and we'll be talking about that soon. But just things that it's important to have that have that business and exercise balance. You gotta do both, because otherwise, if you don't, here's my philosophy: if you don't feel healthy, you're not going to perform as well. And that's why it's important for me to, doing everything that I do. I mean, YouTube is just a small piece of the puzzle, but having that exercise component is super important. So I highly encourage you to check out my Schwinn IC4 videos. Also, the tuna salad. The tuna salad, that's something I've been doing recently, and it with a bunch of water has been a very effective, I guess that's the best word for it, very effective tool so far. I've been able to, I weigh myself. I've got a review of this. It's the scales. Let me see if I've got those scales on here. If y'all haven't checked these out, you probably want to check them out. Let's see. They are, let me get a link to the video here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, here comes the link here in a second. So these things are awesome, because what you can do is you can link, so you weigh yourself, and it does more than just weight. It does like BMI and a bunch of other metrics as well. But it links up with your smartphone. So these are very affordable. Just weigh yourself like you would with most any type of scale. And then, it pairs up with your smartphone, so you can track your progress over time. So, if you notice that, hey, on the weekends, I may gain a pound or two because of the diet, but then you can see, overall, are you trending are you kind of just saying stagnant? Are you actually is your weight increasing, or is it a slow and steady decrease? So, my strategy, my personal strategy has been to, just eat and drink whatever on the weekends, because there's no reason to wear yourself out. So many people that are on a diet and or exercise program, they wear themselves out. And basically what happens, they lose interest, and then they really dig themselves a hole, and they've got to dig out of that. So my philosophy has always been, expect the weight to come on at some times. Sometimes it'll flare up, but don't quit your exercise routine, and don't just eat an intentionally unhealthy diet. So, I like to see a slow and steady trend downwards. And I need to lose a little bit more. I've got my target number in mind, and I don't want to get skinny. I don't want to be skinny. That's just personal preference. But I do want to lose some weight, and being able to track it using those scales that I just linked the video to is super nice. And of course, if you haven't checked out the IC4, let me get a link to my IC4 video playlist here, because I think you're really, if you haven't checked that out, man, you are missing out. Let's see. Sorry, I got so many video playlists, I just got to get to it. Here we go. Yeah, there it is. Let's see. Let me get a link. Yeah, so the Schwinn IC4 is just an incredible tool, and you can use it by itself, or you can pair it up. You know, use like I do with Apple Fitness Plus. I've really enjoyed the motivational aspects of Apple Fitness Plus. Drinking my H2O water. So yeah, let's see what we got here. Something big is coming. I'm going to start doing some live streams of the PlayStation 5. You know, there's certain titles, certain video games that that are eligible for live streaming. So I'm going to be doing a lot of that, and you know, just a great way to improve one's hand and eye coordination, and a great way to have fun at the same time. So that's going to become a component of the channel. We do have a new drone. That's right, a new drone is coming soon, allegedly from DJI. It's about time. It looks like it's probably going to be the Mavic 3 Pro. It's probably going to have a Hasselblad camera, and you know, it's going to be interesting to see what all they bring to the table with the DJI Mavic 3 Pro. It's been a while since they you know, since DJI is putting, I mean, they put out the Mavic Air 2S, which is a great drone. You know, and actually I like it better than the Mavic 2 Pro, primarily because it, you know, the autofocus is just, it's rock solid. I mean, check out my Mavic Air 2S videos and see for yourself. I mean, it's a phenomenally excellent autofocus system on that camera. And that was my biggest gripe. You know, I love the Mavic 2 Pro, the 1-inch sensor. I was really able to capture excellent low light footage, you know, sunset, sunrise, that sort of stuff. But the inability to have, even with the latest firmware, it was pretty solid, but the autofocus was not 100%. So, you know, you had to remember with the Mavic 2 Pro, you had to remember to really tune in that manual focus before you started filming, because otherwise you would probably have poorly focused video, and that's, you know, that's never a good thing when you're flying. I mean, when you're flying a drone and capturing video footage, you don't want to have to think about, is it in focus? You know, you want to think about flying. You don't want to have to manipulate your camera's focus while you're flying. That's just not that's not a good feeling. So yeah, I think the Mavic 3 Pro is probably going to be, I don't know. I mean, is it going to be greater and better? I mean, what are we going to see? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what Mavic 3 Pro brings to the table. You know, DJI, again, the last drone they released was the Mavic Air 2S, and it's time for a newer drone. So yeah, we got that coming. We've got, you know, the thing is, man, I've got to get out, and hopefully, I remain cautiously optimistic that, you know, all of these travel regulations and all of that, I mean, we can't be stuck like this forever. I mean, it's gotten to the point now to where you know, there's some places you can go, but if you do go, there's so many things that are closed. There's so many hoops you got to hop through just to, you know, to get on public transportation or whatever. I mean, it's you know, these are very uncertain times, I guess we should say. So, you know, hopefully all that lightens up. I wish they would just say, okay, it's over, and let everybody get back out and travel and not have to worry about all these restrictions, because I tell you, that's one of the biggest things for this channel, you know, has always been and will always be the adventure travel component. And when you're doing adventure travel, and travel is so challenging to to accomplish nowadays, it's really it's really disappointing time. I mean, admittedly, I've leveraged the travel budget that I have for IrixGuy's Adventure Channel. I've leveraged that to make some improvements, radical improvements in the studio where I am right now with the acoustics and that sort of stuff. But it's time to get back out there. It's time to get back out there and actually explore these travel destinations. In an adventurous fashion. Not just going to the cookie cutter. Oh, I went to Resort XYZ or whatever. No. This is not a resort centric travel channel. This is a get out there, get the cheapest place you can get. Really get out there and see stuff that you're not going to see if you're just getting the resort experience. So, and speaking of that, I do want to provide some travel advice, and hopefully this is something that will provide value the next time that you embark on a travel adventure. And something I always like to do is, again, I'm not a resort traveler. It's just too expensive, and it's just too cookie cutter. I mean, it's just like it's its own little environment, and you're paying too much to have a place to sleep. And no, you got to get out. You got to experience the wherever you're going. And in my case, it's normally the Caribbean. That's my thing. But the thing I've always done, I go to sites like TripAdvisor, like VRBO, Verbo, however you say it. Is it VRBO? Is it Verbo? Who knows? Who knows how you pronounce it? But I go to those sites and I pick the travel destination. And then I sort the vacation rentals price low to high. And after I've got that sorted list, then what I can do from the lowest price up, I can say, okay, well, this one has no reviews. That could be good. It could be a complete gamble, and I could regret spending to stay there. So what I like to do is look at all the price low to high and then find the ones that have a significant number of reviews. And in those reviews, I like to see the ones that are overwhelmingly positive. But I then sort those reviews and look at the negative reviews, because there may have been one person that was polite enough to point out something that would just make that vacation rental a complete no-go for me. Like, oh, it doesn't have a grill, or the grill's broken. Well, you got to cook. When I go to these places, I'm not eating all the meals out because it gets expensive. And that's another tip. When you go, especially, and this is something I do for the Caribbean, and again, this was pre that virus that's going around and all of that. So things may have changed, but what I would do is I would pack a checked bag in the airport, and I would just load it up with food, non-perishable food like breakfast bars and that sort of stuff. I'd put toilet paper in there, just as much stuff as I could get. And see, then that way, for breakfast and snacks, I had that covered, and it was less expensive than buying it, because most anything you buy on an island is going to be more expensive because most everything is imported, which makes it more expensive. So at least that way I had my breakfast covered, I had my snack covered, and, I just had to eat. And typically, I like to eat lunch out on the islands because it's typically less expensive than dinner. So, that's a way to save money. Now, again, when you're traveling, you definitely want to hit up at least one or two excellent meals, one or two excellent dinners. Save that money up in advance. Be prepared to spend, and be prepared to enjoy some really exceptional cuisine, if that's your thing. I mean, I like to eat good food. I mean, as you can tell, that's one of my favorite pastimes. So it's, but, again, just using tools like Verbo and TripAdvisor and sorting those vacation rentals price low to high, you can really get some excellent deals. So if you get an affordable place to stay, then your expense becomes the food, your expense becomes the travel to and from. And obviously, if you're doing paid adventures on those islands, which I typically don't, because I create my own adventures, and that's one of the things with this channel is going out and showcasing what all you can do and what all you can and should experience on these various islands. That's part of the biggest, one of the biggest components of this channel is educating travelers. What should I do when I get there? How can I save money? How can I have a really good time, but not pay that resort premium or whatever? So, just a lot of cool things to consider. And I tell you, I am super, super stoked to get back out there and be, selling throughout the Caribbean. Because right now, the thing is, so many things are closed. If they're not closed, you got to deal, okay, well, is this United States? Is this British? Then you got to deal with all because nobody really knows what to do right now. So it's one of those deals, if adventure travel is supposed to be fun, right now, because of the ongoing, which hopefully it'll end soon, but the ongoing international situation, it's just inconvenient and it's not fun. So, that being said, I hope that after all this comes to a close, that, it hasn't destroyed things. I hope that, that airfare doesn't become super expensive. I hope that lodging doesn't become super expensive. But, what we're seeing now just with standard cost of goods, groceries, utilities, gasoline, everything is going through the roof. So I'm afraid that, I don't know. These are weird times. And I'm just, I'm glad that, IrixGuy's Adventure Channel has been traveling for many years prior to 2020, and, has been able to capture a ton of content so far. And I'm excited that, I've been able to improve the studio and improve the, the quality of the equipment, this, that, and the other. But I'm totally bummed that international travel right now is just not doable. And maybe you've traveled internationally, and maybe you had a different experience. Comment below, tell me, because I would be curious to hear how that was accomplished, because it's just, right now with everything that's going on, it's just not. I don't see how it can be done, and that's that's painful. When your channel, one of the biggest aspects of your channel is adventure travel, and travel's so complicated right now that it's really it's a pain. So I'm going to branch out in the interim until I'm able to hit the international waters again, and this, that, and the other. I'm going to just put together just a ton of travel tutorials. So if you have questions, anything about, insert destination here, just comment. And, I'll try my best to whip up a video response and, hopefully provide you and others as well value. When you're planning that vacation or whatever, that's what I'm here to do, man. And it's been crazy. And just when you think all that stuff's about to come to a close, and they come out with something else, it's like, oh, well, yeah, guess what? This is here, da-da-da. And it's one thing after the next. So, yeah, and the other thing is, too, and I was speaking with a fellow YouTuber, and they were talking about a drone nature. Hey, just got here. How's everything where you live? In Norway, the virus spreads. We are not in lockdown yet. That's awesome. You're not in lockdown, man. That's actually incredible. So is everything in Norway? Is it normal? Can you just go out and drive around and go in a store and sit down in a restaurant and eat? Or is it completely open back up? Speaking of that, and I don't know if you know this, but if you do, do you know if Norway is allowing international travelers? And if they do they require any sort of once you arrive, do you have to go through a bunch of medical tests or anything, or can you just land and get off the airplane and have fun? Norway's always been one of those places that I've wanted to visit, because typically my channel's been Caribbean, which is great, but now it's a matter of Drone Nature, yeah, everything is almost normal. Some very cool, man. So you don't have, I mean, are there people that are actually sick, or is it just kind of like life is normal? That's a place I'd like to go, man, Norway. I think that'd be a cool. I've done a few cold weather destinations. Never done. Oh, you got to show the vaccine pass. Ugh, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. And then, I was talking to a fellow YouTuber, and they were saying they had just flown internationally, and they were talking about the experience. Basically, they had to wear their mask the entire time. They didn't have beverage service. I could not imagine flying internationally right now, having to wear a mask and not having anything to drink. I mean, that would just be miserable. And then, and then arriving at the destination and having to go through all these screenings, and I don't know, man. I just like to be a simple dude and do what I want to do, how I want to do it, when I want to do it. And this is really, this has it's destroying the travel industry. It really is. And my only hope is that things rebound, and they rebound in a super strong way, because if we don't get this tourism issue corrected, it's going to have long lasting negative side effects. I mean, it definitely is. Got to get it fixed quickly. But yeah, it's interesting, man. Norway's normal, but you got to have the vaccine. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough, man. It really is. But Drone Nature says Norway has under 1,000 people died of the virus since it came in 2020. We are 7 million people. 7 million people in Norway. Wow. Well, it probably has to do with the diet over there too. I mean, I know, and again, I've never been to Norway, but from what I've seen and researched, it seems like everybody seems to eat a healthy diet. They seem to eat, they seem to exercise, ski, and climb mountains and that sort of stuff. So, from that perspective, it looks like, based upon what you just said, and those, when you're looking at 1,000 out of 7 million, that's a pretty small percentage, an extremely small percentage. And then if you break down that 1,000, and obviously it wouldn't be public information, but if you were able to break it down somehow, how many of those 1,000 had some sort of pre-existing condition? I mean, people have food allergies, there's all sorts of things that make one person more susceptible to something than another. I mean, if I had a peanut allergy, I could go and eat a peanut and die. I mean, that's just the sad reality. So who knows, man? I mean, this is crazy. Man, I wish that Norway didn't require that vaccine passport, because I'd hop on a jet plane and get over there and just get out and about and relax. That would be a very cool place, man. You're lucky to live in a place like that. Drone Nature says, yeah, health is important to Norwegian people, but I like a good burger and beer. Oh man, no doubt. Actually, I'm cooking burgers tonight, drinking some, actually, let's see, am I going to do beer? Probably do whiskey. I'm going to do some whiskey and some burgers, and, just good food, man. Good, eat a lot of meat, eat a lot of vegetables, live life. Don't just sit around and be like, well, I could have done that or I should have done that. Do it. Just do it. And yeah, man. Yep, burgers and beer, man. You can't beat that. You cannot beat hamburgers and beer, that's for sure. Good, healthy combo. I'm drinking a ton of water. That's my thing. Before I do eat a lot of good food and drink some good beer, I just drink a bunch of water. And, water is one of the most healthy things that anyone can consume. And you'd be amazed at how many people fail to drink enough water. I mean, water is an essential thing that people should consume throughout the day. I mean, if you don't, if you don't, you can become dehydrated and not even realize it. I mean, this morning I rode a bicycle 14 and a half miles. So, I drank a ton of water. I'm drinking a ton of water now to rehydrate. Drone says almost 80% of the people that died are older people with some kind of other disease. Yeah. I mean, that's now, does Norway have some sort of governing body when it comes to, Jake, welcome back. Are Maya, McKenna, and Katie here, or just you? Yeah, does Norway have some sort of thing like the CDC that's in the United States, the Centers for Disease Control? Do they have any sort of governing body for medical stuff? The only reason I'm asking that, I would just be curious if y'all do have something like that, if it's an entity that publishes public information, and does the information seem to make sense, or is it? I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, I think I'm going to fix. It's one of those days, man. You just want to eat some bacon. I've got tomatoes. I got bacon. I got mayonnaise. I think I'm just going to tear up a bacon, tomato, mayonnaise, sea salt, and freshly ground black pepper, and eat some sandwiches. I think I'm going to do that. This can be a short show at 30 minutes. I'm going to do some more live shows throughout the weekend. But, appreciate y'all tuning in. And Jake says, nope, not now. I'm on call. But if you another stream tomorrow or Sunday, they will be. Very cool. Yeah, and I plan to do a lot of streams and just kind of across the board. Actually, I'm going to be I've got a PlayStation 5, a PS5. And I'm going to be doing some live streams with that. I got this unit that will enable me to split the HDMI. So I've got it on my TV here in my studio, but then the second one will actually input into my streaming device, my ATEM Mini Pro. So I'll be able to stream live. The gameplay, of course, is eligible to be streamed on YouTube. I don't want to encounter any sort of copyright issues or anything like that. But streaming content that I'm able to stream, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun because we can kind of chat through video game strategies. And I'm not a gamer. I used to play games a lot, but there's something when it comes to games. There's something therapeutic about it. It helps with your hand and your eye coordination, and that's super important. But it also helps you to zone out. And sometimes, again, I'm not a lazy person. I don't have time to zone out. And, it's one of those situations where I think, zone out of maybe 30 minutes or so I can concurrently zone out, playing that game, but live streaming, interacting with everyone at the same time. So it's kind of a double-edged, dual value. I'm getting the value of the live stream, but I'm also getting the value of just being able to zone out. Producer Mark, welcome aboard. And let's see, Drone Nature. Yes, we have not clear what you mean, but everything is pretty open in Norway. We listen to people that run the country, not like in the United States where you do whatever you like. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, your English is great, and that's incredible that your English is so excellent. And yeah, that's the thing here. In the United States, it's hard to know what can and should be trusted. And it's, having it sounds like your government is very open, and it sounds like your government is probably sharing the truth. And that's a positive, man. That's huge. That is huge. Producer Mark says, Producer Mark says, how are you, Superstar? I'm doing great. How are you doing, Producer Mark? Good to see you on the channel. Really good to see you. And I've got some timepieces for tomorrow live streams. Actually, I've got had a little technical issue trying to get that screen share, and going to get that tweaked out, and then we're going to have a live stream for that hopefully this weekend. Producer Mark says, please teach people about setting up YouTube channels and streaming. No doubt. And that's check out my ATEM Mini Pro video playlist. I've got a lot of tips in there Also got a lot of chroma key green screen tutorial type stuff. Check that out if you're interested in green screening. I used to use a product called Wirecast, which was really good, but it was a subscription, and I'm cheap. I don't want to get locked into subscriptions, so I've invested, and it was a pretty hefty investment initially, but the return on investment's been great. The ATEM Mini Pro that I'm using for this live stream. So yeah, definitely check that out. Jake says, before I came on, I was at a large fire. Oh man, that does not sound exciting. I hope everyone is okay, and I hope that y'all are able to get that extinguished. That's never a good thing, man. Not at all. Drone Nature, in Norway, we have many political parties, and we decide who we want to decide our laws. Very cool. Well, in the United States, we've got something called the New World Order, the NWO, and they pretty much run the show, unfortunately. So don't really know who runs it here. It's become a very weird environment. But yeah, we're gonna get a lot of cool stuff going here. I've got the challenge that I've run into, producer Mark. The challenge I've run into is I've got my screen over there that I see my live stream on. But when I do a screen share, like if I want to share the chrono24.com website, I'm looking across the room. So what I've got to figure out is how to have a monitor in front of me so that I can see what I'm, let's see. Kiwi Investor, DIS is online, live streaming as well. From there, I heard that you were also on a live stream. Very cool. Yeah, DIS is cool. Jake says, everyone got out, including the pets, and we got her under control. Good deal, good deal, good deal. Wolf Commander, IrixGuy, thanks for showing Jerez Dis some love. You guys should do a video together. You would love his collection. There you go. Actually, I do have, and I don't have my image right here, but I've got timepieces for tomorrow. That's my live stream series. Also got a series of video wristwatch reviews, and I want to do a timepieces for tomorrow live stream. Maybe this evening, actually. I've just got to figure out my monitor thing, because what I want to be able to do is see that monitor that I'm sharing with everybody else and be able to talk through it. Kiwi Investor says, Jesuits, the upper echelon of Catholic Church, controls USA and NWO and Israel and Saudi Arabia and India and the world. Please elaborate more. Irix, my man. We're going to save that for an upcoming live stream. Guys, I'm going to jump out of this one for a second. I'll have another live stream, hopefully around 7 p.m. New York City time. So subscribe to my channel, ring that bell icon to be notified, and I will see y'all soon. We'll get a lot of these live streams going. Also, if you want to be a guest, I've got Skype, and I can bring y'all in. It's super easy to get in and be really cool. Thanks for your viewership. Be safe, and I'll see y'all in another live stream soon.